One Thursday night, Chloe Jack sat down on the lap of the most dangerous man in the room. A consulting contract followed. Then something that kept becoming more than either of them planned. 18 months of careful construction by Park Seung-hwan unraveled in 9 days, once Chloe found the thread. Park Ji-yeon talked. The records came in. Thompson found criminal exposure. The leverage communication went out, and Seung-hwan accepted every term by morning. But the picture wasn't complete. A third-party approach reached vendor Han Myung-soo through a channel only someone with original network architecture knowledge could use. That knowledge belonged to one man, Baek Sung-jin, gone 7 years, the architect who left over a different disagreement than Seung-hwan's. The communication went to him too. His silence, Sung-min said, was recalibration, not defiance. Saturday brought a 42-year-old ceramics workshop and a second confession, quieter than the first. The whiteboard now reads 2 words: resolution, continuation. And a promise: when this fully resolves, they go back to where it started. The corner booth, Paradise Dish Eatery, Thursday evening. Baek Sung-jin still hasn't responded. Welcome back. If this is your first time here, parts 1 through 10 are everything you need. Subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss what comes next. Now let's get into part 11. It came on a Tuesday, 4 days after the communication went out. Not through Thompson, not through Dong-suk. Through the secure transfer address Thompson had set up for Park Ji-yeon's records. The same address, repurposed, which told Chloe before she even opened the file that Baek Sung-jin had been paying closer attention to the situation than anyone realized. She was at the penthouse when the alert came through. Song-min was at his desk. Yoon was at the whiteboard. Dong-suk was in the doorway with his phone already in hand. "It's him," she said. She opened the file. It was not a communication in the way the others had been, not an acceptance, not a negotiation, not the careful hedged language of someone protecting their position. It was a single document, 31 pages. The complete architecture of the inter-organizational communication network, every channel, every dependency, every point where the system Baek Sung-jin had built 7 years ago had been modified since his departure, and every point where it had not. Annotated. In his own handwriting, scanned into the digital file. The same careful precision she recognized from Yoon's margin notes, a different hand but the same quality of mind. At the bottom of the 31st page, a final note. "This is everything. I built it. I know where every weakness is, including the ones I did not give to Seung-hwan. You should have all of it, not the portion he was using. I am not asking for anything in return. I am telling you this because Song-min built something that deserved to last, and I helped him build it before I decided I was wrong about what came next. I was not entirely wrong, but I was wrong about how to act on being right. BSJ." The office was completely silent. Sang-min read it twice. Chloe watched his face as he did, the particular stillness of a man receiving something he had not let himself hope for. "He gave us everything," Yoon said quietly. "Not just compliance. Everything, including the parts Seung-hwan didn't have." "Why would he do that?" Dong-suk said. Chloe was already working through it. "Because compliance with the communication would have been the minimum," she said. "This is more than the minimum. This is someone trying to say something he doesn't know how to say directly." "What is he trying to say?" Sang-min said. "That he wants back in," she said. "Not formally, not yet. But this is the equivalent of standing at a door he doesn't think he has the right to knock on, and sliding everything he has under it instead." Sang-min was quiet for a long moment. "I need to speak with him," he said. "I know," Chloe said. "Not the way I spoke with Yoon," he said. "Yoon came to me. This is different. I think I need to go to him." She looked at him. "That's a significant gesture." "He gave us 31 pages of everything he has," Sang-min said, "including the parts he could have kept for himself as leverage. The gesture should match." "Still here? Good. Because what happens next is the part where everything either fully closes or fully reopens. Subscribe and hit the bell. Let's keep going." Baek Sung-jin lived in Pasadena, a quiet house on a quiet street, the kind of neighborhood that suggested someone who had built a stable, unremarkable life after leaving a world that was neither. Sung-min went alone. No Dong-sok, no visible security, though Chloe knew Taeho was somewhere nearby, maintaining the kind of distance that was presence without intrusion. She waited at the penthouse with Yoon, going through the 31 pages line by line, cross-referencing every channel Baek had documented against the network map she had been building for weeks. It was the most complete picture of the organization's communication architecture that had ever existed in one place. More complete than anything Yoon had built originally, because Bach had included 7 years of observation from the outside. He's been watching this carefully, she said to Yoon. This isn't just what he built. This is what he's noticed has changed since he left. I didn't know half of these modifications existed, Yoon said, reading over her shoulder. Which means he's been tracking the system's evolution from a distance, she said. For 7 years. Without contact, without involvement, just watching. That's not someone who walked away, Yoon said. No, she said. That's someone who left the room but never stopped paying attention to what happened in it. Sang-min called at 4:40 p.m. He's coming back, he said without preamble. Not tomorrow, not formally yet. But he's coming back, Chloe. She felt something settle in her chest. Not relief exactly. The specific satisfaction of watching a structure complete itself. What did he say? She asked. He said he'd been waiting 7 years for someone to ask him the right question. Sang-min said. Seung-hwan never asked it. Seung-hwan assumed Baek's disagreement meant he wanted to tear down what they'd built. He never asked Baek what he actually wanted, which was just to be heard about the direction before it was decided. And you asked him, she said. I asked him what he wanted 7 years ago, that he never got to say, Sang-min said. He talked for an hour. I listened. And now? Now I understand what I missed 7 years ago, he said. I made the right decision about direction, I made the wrong decision about how to handle disagreement. I let him leave instead of finding a way to keep him in the conversation, even when we disagreed. She was quiet for a moment. You're learning that lesson now, she said. With me, the whiteboard, the not managing what I know. Yes, he said. I am. Good, she said. Bring him in slowly. The way Yoon came in. Let him find his place rather than assigning him one. That's exactly what I told him, Sang-min said. He said that sounded like something you would say. She almost laughed. He doesn't even know me. He read the 31 pages, knowing they'd be read by whoever had pulled this thread, Sang-min said. He already has an opinion about you. A good one. The weeks that followed had a different texture than anything before them. Not urgent. Not building toward a crisis. The particular quiet productivity of a structure being reinforced rather than defended. Yoon and Baek met for the first time in 7 years in the penthouse's main office, the two architects of the original network sitting across from each other with Sung-min between them and Chloe at the end of the table. Baek Sung-jin was different from what she expected. Quieter than Yoon, more inclined to listen before speaking. With the careful manner of someone who had spent 7 years thinking about what he would say if he ever got the chance. He looked at her during their second meeting and said, without preamble, you found what Seung-hwan was using, before he could finish using it. Yes, she said. How? I read the margin notes, she said. Something moved in his expression. Recognition. The kind that comes from someone understanding a method they respect. I used to tell people that the documents tell you more about the relationships than the relationships tell you about themselves, he said. Nobody ever understood what I meant. I understand it, she said. Yes, he said. I can tell. With Baek's full documentation, Chloe identified 4 additional vulnerabilities that Seung-hwan had built but never activated. She spent 3 weeks closing every one of them, methodically, with Yoon's structural input, and Baek's 7 years of outside observation and her own particular gift for reading what documents revealed about the people who wrote them. By the second week of December, the network was more secure than it had ever been. Park Seung-hwan dissolved the shell company within the agreed timeline. Thompson confirmed the dissolution filing. Park Ji-yeon's loan forgiveness was finalized. Chloe received a brief, formal thank you note through Thompson's office that she read twice and filed somewhere she would remember. Baek Sung-jin took on what Sung-min called, with precision, an advisory capacity with defined boundaries, language Chloe recognized as having been shaped by the same careful structural thinking she had spent months teaching him to value. The whiteboard in the penthouse, by mid-December, had 31 items on it. Fully mapped, fully connected, fully resolved. She stood in front of it on a Thursday evening in the second week of December and felt the particular completeness of watching something close properly. Sang-min came to stand beside her. "It's done," he said. "It's done," she agreed. "Thursday," he said. She looked at him. "Tonight?" "Tonight," he said. "If you're ready. We are right in the middle of something that has been building toward exactly this moment. Subscribe and stay close. This is the part you don't want to miss. Let's keep going." Paradise Dish Eatery looked exactly the same. That was the first thing she noticed when they walked in together. Sang-min beside her, no security detail visible at the entrance, no ceremony to the arrival. The VIP section was quieter than it had been that first Thursday, the dinner rush not yet at its peak. Madame Choi was at the host stand. She looked up, saw the two of them together, and her expression did something complicated. Surprise giving way almost immediately to a kind of satisfaction that suggested she had been expecting this, or hoping for it, for longer than either of them realized. "Chloe, she said softly. "Madame Choi," Chloe said. "You came back," Madame Choi said. "Not to work." "Not to work," Chloe confirmed. Madame Choi looked between them, then at the corner booth, empty tonight, waiting in the particular way that significant places wait when they don't yet know they're about to become significant again. "Sit," Madame Choi said. "I will bring tea, the good tea." She left them at the entrance to the VIP section. They walked to the corner booth together. Chloe stopped before sitting. She looked at it. The same booth, the same upholstery, the same particular angle of light from the fixture above it that she remembered with a clarity she hadn't expected to still have. 7 months, she said. 7 months, he agreed. "I didn't plan it," she said. "That night. I want you to know that I've thought about it 100 times since, and I still don't fully understand why I chose this booth specifically. Why you specifically." "I've thought about it too," he said. "I think the answer is the same for both of us." "What's the answer?" "You didn't choose me because you understood what I was," he said. "You chose this booth because you understood, in less than a second, that whatever I wasn't going to hurt you. Some part of you read the room correctly before your conscious mind had time to catch up." She considered that. "And you let me stay," she said. "You could have had me removed, politely. You had every reason to." "I had every reason to," he agreed. "I didn't, because some part of me had been waiting for exactly the kind of interruption you were. I just didn't know that's what I'd been waiting for until it happened." They sat. Madame Choi returned with tea, the good tea, served with the particular ceremony she reserved for occasions she considered worth the ceremony. "On the house," Madame Choi said, setting down the tray. "Both of you, tonight." She left before either of them could object. Chloe looked at the tea, then at Sang-min, then around the VIP section, the same room where everything had started, now somehow both completely familiar and entirely transformed by everything that had happened since. "Park Seung-hwan is gone," she said, resolved. "Baek Sung-jin is finding his way back. Ji-yeon's family is protected. The network is more secure than it's ever been." "Yes," he said. "And we're sitting in the booth where I sat on your lap to escape my ex-boyfriend," she said. "Yes," he said, and something in his voice carried real warmth. "We are." "This is the part where the story is supposed to end," she said. "The crisis is resolved. The threat is neutralized. The structural problems are solved." "Is that what you think this is?" he said. "An ending?" She looked at him. The whiteboard's 2 words came back to her. Resolution, then continuation. The order she had chosen deliberately. "No," she said. "I think this is the part where I get to actually look at what we built, now that I'm not building it under pressure." "And what do you see?" he said. She held his gaze across the same table where everything had started. "I see someone who built an organization to last 20 years, she said, and is learning, slowly and carefully, how to build something else that lasts even longer. He reached across the table and took her hand. The same gesture from the bookshop. The same quiet certainty. "There's something I want to ask you," he said. "Not tonight. I don't want it to be tied to all of this resolving. I want it to stand on its own." "Then ask me when it's ready to stand on its own," she said. "I will," he said. "I know," she said. "You always do." Madame Choi watched them from across the room with the particular satisfaction of a woman who had spent 30 years in this business and recognized, when she saw it, the rare thing that actually lasted. Outside, Los Angeles moved through its December evening, indifferent, alive, full of everything still to come. Inside the corner booth, two people who had built something together, carefully, honestly, one Thursday at a time, sat with their tea and the particular ease of a beginning finally understood from its own ending. The whiteboard in the penthouse, 31 items strong, would need a new page soon. Not for a threat, not for a vulnerability to close. For something else. Something Sung-min was already quietly beginning to plan. That is where part 11 ends. Baek Sung-jin is finding his way home. The network has never been more secure, and the corner booth has finally become what it was always going to become. Not the end of the danger, but the proof of what came after it. There's something Sung-min wants to ask, and he's waiting for it to stand on its own. Part 12 is coming. Subscribe, hit the bell, and drop a comment. What do you think he's planning? I read every single one. Don't go anywhere.